If only I had a house small enough to drop on this one. Here's a look at the brand new McFarlane Toys movie Maniacs, The Wizard of Oz, Wicked Witch of the West. From the classic film The Wizard of Oz comes a new movie Maniacs figure of the Wicked Witch of the West from McFarlane Toys. This limited edition figure displays the iconic witch holding the broom ready to cause some mischief. When a tornado rips through Kansas, Dorothy and her dog Toto are whisked away in their house to a magical land of Oz. They follow the yellow brick road toward the Emerald City to meet the wizard. En route, they meet the scarecrow that needs a brain, a tin man missing a heart, and a cowardly lion who wants courage. The wizard asks the group to bring him the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West to earn his help. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dolls, too. Actually, they're action figures, if you really must know. Before we get a closer look at the Wicked Witch of the West from the brand new McFarlane toy line, I'd like to thank the folks over at McFarlane Toys that did provide the sample we're about to have a look at. Where should we measure this? Technically, her broom is the tallest point on the figure, so maybe we'll go around there. The Wicked Witch of the West from McFarlane Toys movie Maniacs is 6¼ inches in height, or that's going to be roughly about 15½ centimeters tall. And here's what the Wicked Witch of the West looks like, along with Ted Lasso that we looked at before. Not really sure even why I'm whispering. But the Wicked Witch, considering that she's crouched, is going to be a smaller figure. And again, it's not really so much a figure, it's going to be more of a statue. There's very little in the way of posability when it comes to these pieces. Ted Lasso, at least from what we've looked at so far, is the tallest of the two movie Maniacs so far. That may very well change when we're about to look at Harry Potter in an upcoming video. Though not to brush along a witch. Witches don't like that kind of thing, by the way. The Wicked Witch of the West, similar though to Ted Lasso, comes included with a backdrop. And though while Ted Lasso's would have been again a soccer stadium, the Wicked Witch of the West gets something a little bit more different and accurate to the movie. She gets herself Munchkinville. I don't know if we can actually still call them Munchkins. Do we have to call them something else by now? You can see in this case, there's a yellow brick road. The yellow brick road, if you follow it, follows your way all the way through the magical land of Oz and eventually gets to the Emerald City. And there to the back, you won't find yourself a hanging munchkin. That's just an urban myth. But what you will find, though, is the wizard. And the wizard's going to grant your wish, whether it be a heart, whether it be a brain, courage, or just a way to get home. Anyways, though, it's a really nice looking backdrop. Once again, it does rely on these plastic standees. Just to remove them, you could technically have the display stand fine on its own, but I'm glad to see that they actually took the time to include these things. Just gives it a little more stability, and it also shows that they care as well. We're going to go ahead and then slide this into the provided grooves, top and bottom, and once that's sandwiched in the middle, like I said, you get yourself a little standee. On the back, though, it's completely plain. It's completely plain and blank. That's the word I was looking for. But at least it gives you a nice little way of displaying the Wicked Witch. To go one then better, the figure also comes include, the statue also comes include with a silver placard. Just to bring in the one that came include with Ted Lasso, just to show you that they are exactly the same. They do feel like they could be metal, although I think it's just actually heavier plastic. They almost have sort of a coolness to the touch, but I think they're just plastic. You can see that here you've got the Wizard of Oz. You've got down below celebrating 100 years again of Warner Brothers. Exactly the same type of display stands to go also along with that. The Wicked Witch of the West does also come included with a trading card for the display stand. The trading card here does show that it's the Wicked Witch of the West down below. A rather interesting picture there, a portrait of the Wicked Witch of the West. Evil, evil woman. Not a very good thing to be watching when you're really young at age. I think it's one of my earliest things I was scared of watching as a kid. The Wizard of Oz and the Wicked Witch of the West. Here located, though, on the back, unlike Ted Lasso, though, was only provided by 20,000, the Wicked Witch slices that in half. And actually only is 10,000 copies worldwide. It's also the signature of the creator down below, Todd McFarlane. And normally I'm guessing there would be a number right here, but because this was provided to me by McFarlane Toys, might be the reasoning why a number was omitted. It's still, though, only out of 10,000 copies. You're going to take yourself the card. It's going to slide in the provided slots to the back of the standee. And once that's in there, you got yourself a little standee card. That's nice. I like the look of that. Now, again, you can either have the things combined, bring everything together. If you have the footprint space available, it only really requires that much. I mean, that's the kind of thing that a homeowner would tell a carpenter. I need about that much. And the carpenter's like, well, what is that? Oh, it's about that much. That's as much real estate space that the statue, the card standee, and then the backdrop is going to require should you wish to put this on display. You may also notice off to the side here as well, there's also a mystery box. Ooh, what's in the box? Well, like Ted Lasso before, I haven't actually opened it, but it does feel like it's a little bit heavier than Ted Lasso's earlier looked at sticker. I'm going to open this up. Oh, and what do we have inside? I honestly have no idea. I wanted to keep this as solely a surprise. I'm going to open this up, and it looks maybe like a movie poster, possibly a poster. Oh, this is nice. Although, unfortunately, by having this be a poster folded up like this, it's gone very crinkly. We get ourselves an actual movie poster. I'm guessing this would be probably the original poster that was released. It doesn't give an actual original copyright date, but it looks to be, well, it's printed only on one side. Can you guys actually see that okay? Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland, Frank Morgan, Ray Bolger, Burt Lair, and Jack Haley. Poor Jack Haley. It's silver, what was it, aluminum powdered makeup. Not a good thing, not a good thing. That's pretty cool. The only downside, unfortunately, to this is I don't know if I would have gone the route of using a poster. Something just because, again, like you're folding it up. I don't think you're ever going to really get that flat again if you ever want to put that in like, a poster frame. And they'll put it to the side. Maybe I'll try to iron it out a little bit later. Anyways, let's move on, though, to the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm going to move the card out of the way as well. And we're going to also move the standee because we don't need to look at that right away. Now, the Wicked Witch of the West did have, again, some troubling times to try to get her out of the plastic prison that she was contained inside. I don't know if you may have noticed at the beginning of the video, but there's actually a little slice mark or a mark that has scissors next to it. You're supposed to cut right there. And I guess you're just supposed to cut it continuing up all the way up to the statue, and then you're just supposed to kind of pry it around the figure. I guess that makes things a little bit easier. These are still hard things to try to remove out of their packaging. The Wicked Witch does come included with a broom. The broom is not removable. You can't do anything with it. And there is, again, like no articulation that I can see on the witch whatsoever. Kind of the way they actually cut the shoulders, it does look like maybe there was a point there that would have been posable, but not the case at all. These are just statues. Why do I say statues? The figure, once again, does come included. The statue does come included on top of a display base. So this spiraling effect that has the Wizard of Oz in the middle. I like the look of that. And this is supposed to, again, simulate the yellow brick road. This red part is supposed to be the middle section as the road spirals out. Honestly, though, considering that well, again, I'm just going to put this down here for a second. Let's just bring this in for a reference point once again. Get this back on the standee. Just bear with me for 1 second. Why I'm bringing this in, again, just to put this in front of the backdrop. The backdrop primarily is yellow, right? Yellow brick road behind it. Continued that same color scheme, I don't necessarily know if I would have added the red here to the side. I know, again, it's supposed to be like part of the spiral because, again, it winds its way out and then becomes a road. But I think I probably would have just kept the colors all consistent and just not made it all the same yellow. Because, again, you got the yellow in the background. The little breakup of red, I think, is a little too jarring for the display stand, but that's just my own personal opinion. We're going to move that off to the side. Again, we'll bring that likely back in a moment. Head sculpt wise, getting a closer look at the Wicked Witch of the West. As good as it may be ugly, it fits, I think, a decent looking profile of the Wicked Witch from the movie. Great looking statue, actually. Again, while it's limited when it comes to posability, where I think they really do land these things is not only the sculpting, but also the paint as well. Hopefully you guys can see as well that I can see this. You get yourself a nice looking portrait of the Wicked Witch. She looks angry. She just generally looked angry in the movie, like she was always just ticked off at everything. I mean, of course, we find out early in the prequel of Wizard of Oz why she becomes so evil. But I always just like to just not know why somebody's just angry. I don't need to always necessarily know a backstory, a back origin as to why somebody's just generally ticked off at the world. Let them just be angry. Don't give them a whole reason why. She does have a hat. The hat is not removable, nor it seems to be the broom either. Like, that's a very large-looking broom. Fits well in her hand. Obviously, it looks like they molded the hand around the broom, so there's really no way that you can actually remove the broom. Color's pretty good on this for what little we get. Mostly the outfit that she wears. She has a long cape here in the back. I love the look of the cape, especially when she's flying around the broomstick. Of course, when she's passing by the windowsill. That might have been the first nightmare I may have had even as a kid. I'm sure there probably were ones before that I just can't remember. But she does have the long flowing cape. It's made of fairly soft plastic. It's attached only by the collar area here. Again, like the detailing for the figure, while being mostly all black plastic, they still managed to put a little bit of extra detailing, like the little silver rivets there for her bodice. Of course, she does have the green in her hands. They even took the time to actually paint the fingernails, although the fingernails sort of look like it looks like just the ends of her fingers have actually been painted. But again, like, it's a little bit of paint, at least I appreciate. Some nice color has also been added to the cheeks also as well. A little bit of red. It's kind of hard to probably make out the red, but there's a little bit of rouge added to her cheeks. And I think there's a lot of cool definition added to her eyes as well for really, again, how small these eyes really are. There's also some coloring that she seems to have like a little sashed belt there on the side just below the bodice and a long flowing dress. Very nice texturing that they've added to it, sort of a basket woven detailing that they've added to it. Now, again, like the Ted Lasso, she seems attached to the display base and in a permanent way that I feel if I was to pry this away, I think I'm just only going to break the peg. I think they're probably been permanently attached to these. I'm going to still stick with that idea. I'm not going to remove it from the display base. If you do want to do that, I can't guarantee the longevity of these, and I can't guarantee that you're not going to break a peg in the process. Again, comes to the posability for the Wicked Witch of the West, there's none. So again, you're not getting any of the posability that you normally would have gotten, at least, 5 points of articulation that we looked at before when it came to the older movie Maniac figures. You're not really going to get that this time around. But I think what you're getting instead is nicely detailed and fairly well sculpted statues. Once again, I'm going to bring in Ted Lasso. I thought there would be a time where I'd be pairing the two of these on a shelf. The Wicked Witch of the West from a classic Wizard of Oz movie, along with Ted Lasso, a character from a more recent television series. If to look at the two, I think the one that stands out the most is Ted Lasso. Lasso, still don't feel he belongs necessarily in movie Maniacs because I don't think he fits under either of those titles. Wicked Witch, on the other hand, I think is a character that would have been prime back in that time, the movie Maniac time, to maybe release her back then, because again, she's a maniac. She was from a classic movie. She fits better, I think, movie Maniacs than poor Ted Lasso does here. While I may be corrected for using the term Munchkin in this review, there is one thing I did want to correct myself from saying in this review and calling it Munchkinville. It's Munchkin Land. We all know about Munchkin Land and all the tiny little people that live in Munchkin Land. Can we call them tiny little people? Of course, they're one of the stops of the many stops that Dorothy and her friends do make along their travels, eventually getting themselves to the Emerald City and meeting the great Wizard of Oz. Don't look behind the curtain whenever you do. Of course, along the ways, they do actually come across the Wicked Witch of the West, and she also does have her army, if you want to call them an army of flying monkeys. Flying monkeys would have been a fun touch to include maybe with the Wicked Witch, but again, they're sticking only just with the one character for right now. Maybe we might get ourselves future characters of the Wizard of Oz also getting that movie Maniacs treatment. Again, you have to kind of pull yourself back a bit and not compare these necessarily with the original movie Maniacs, because the original movie Maniacs, as already looked at, would have been taller figures. They would have also had more posability, and they also think I would have fit better under the name figures. These are clearly more statues, but if you like the look of a statue on your shelf, McFarlane team, as always, do deliver really good sculpts and equally well painted pieces, whether they have posability in them or not. What do you guys think of the Wicked Witch of the West? Let me know down below in the comment section. Now again, if you guys are interested to get this one or the Ted Lasso, Lasso is limited to 20,000 copies. Wicked Witch is even half that. She's only 10,000 copies worldwide. So if you guys are interested to get this one for yourself, whether you plan to open this and have it on display or keep it in the box, only 10,000. That's going to go short and really fast over the course of an entire planet. This entire planet has to share 10,000 Wicked Witch of the West. Just kind of do the math in your head. Okay, maybe don't do the math. You'll probably get a headache. But what do you guys, again, think of the Wicked Witch of the West? Let me know down below in the comment section. And as I did mention with the Ted Lasso review, I'll mention also in this review for your video question for today, who's your favorite character from the Wizard of Oz? And if you had the chance to go see the Wizard of Oz, what would you ask him for? Keep it clean. Let me know down below in the comments section. Also, as well, I'd like to thank the folks over at McFarlane Toys. Yes, I would. That did provide this sample of the brand new movie Maniacs, The Wizard of Oz, The Wicked Witch of the West. Not the one that has the house on top of her. It would be fun, actually. We've got a little house diorama with tiny little curled up feet underneath. I don't know. Leave it with them. I'm sure they're probably going to come up with something quite creative when it comes to that. Certainly, guys, there are going to be more videos coming your way, certainly as well, though. If you enjoyed this video, I want to throw it a like. But if you're loving the content you guys are seeing, and on board to see more movie Maniacs, because we are going to be looking also at Harry Potter, make sure you have, if you haven't, hit that subscribe button down below, and that you're also turning on the bell notification. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.